inspired by yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty much the story of how I grew up. But my German-hating mother, who went through the war, so understandably, and she gave me a real obsession with that topic. It actually came about because my Swedish friend, director, who couldn't be here, Nils, asked me what my strange obsession with the Germans was. It turned into an hour interview, and then we got funding from the Swedish Film Institute, and after a long process, it led to this 10-minute animation.
And did you work with him on choosing this particular style of animation? Is that something that was imagined from the beginning?
Well, at first we were going to do something live action, but it wasn't so interesting. And then we actually wanted to hire professional animators, but we didn't get enough money for that. So he actually learned how to animate. And it started as stick animation and went on from there. So I consulted with the animation, but he really did the lion's share of it. My friend, Romanian Princess Marina Sterza, is in the audience. She went through her own trying journey escaping from the communists in the 50s. So thank you for coming. Okay, first, why is it called German Shepherd? Well, German Shepherd, is an association with the aggressive animal German Shepherd that's in all the old war movies, barking at all the Jews walking by. And I've been called, after having so many close German friends, as a kind of shepherd of the Germans. So it's kind of a play on words, something aggressive and something pleasant. And second question, my mother, well, she unfortunately passed away during the making of German Shepherd. I would have said early on she would have had nothing to do with it and told me, she'll have nothing to do with me if I continue working on this project. But there was actually a German friend of mine, Wolf, whose aunt was so troubled that my mother would want to have nothing to do with her that she made her a little sculpture by Ernst Barlach, who was one of these cast out sculptures. And she was actually so moved by that gesture that it softened a lifetime of that hard thinking. And she actually wrote a note to that woman, which I think made her life. And when it was being made, she finally gave it the stamp of approval.
Thank you.
And remembering is able to make coming generations better and not in the danger of committing a genocide as the Germans did in the 40s.
Wow. Everybody hear that? I don't think I can repeat it. But education is everything. I think one of the themes that resonate in this film in different festivals is what's going on today about sort of the lack of education that causes a lot of extremism. I think a lot of what happened in Germany at the time was really about education, propaganda, and a lot of repetition on that theme. So I think films like this and other films that sort of point out, the atrocities of the past and how they came about, and it's kind of what I wanted to leave with this film, this thinking of, what are we really like? What would we really do if we were in that situation? How do we judge? And take some of that with you. And as far as when you think about issues today that you are judging, all of the violence in the world, we eat our breakfast and think, oh, how terrible what's happening wherever, in Afghanistan or in Iran, and then we just move on to the next thing. So I'd like to think a message from this movie is to really think about it, take it to heart, and try to make your own little difference, with working against these extremisms all over the world. It's not new, it's historical, and it's today.
Relatives who survived Holocaust or escaped or didn't survive would make one imagine that people did nothing and apathy and wouldn't you blame that on fear? Don't you think the people who did nothing, a lot of them were good people who were frightened to help? Or do you really take away from that people just suck and go to their own devices, don't do? There are people who jump into the middle of an Ebola crisis or didn't help.
Well, I was brought up with that Anne Frank saying that really she believes that in essence people are really good. And I think I was so obsessed with that topic and read so many horrible stories of indifference and atrocity that I just thought, no, that's not the natural way that one feels or reacts. I mean, even in life when you have a fight with a friend, the stubborn element is so strong. There's sisters who don't talk for 50 years because of something they don't remember. And beneath that, they're miserable, but the stubbornness, like the uglier feelings are more supreme. And I mean, I go back and forth with what, the nature of humanity. But that experience, and that was my major in college, Holocaust history. A little depressing, but, it gave me a lot of perspective. So I have my doubts about the natural good nature of people and how much of it is really influenced by just the government that you happen to be lucky or unlucky enough to be born in. But as far as what you said in the beginning about, do I think most people were just afraid? Yeah. I mean, that was my point where I said I'd love to be the guy who left and be the resistance fighter, but I'd most probably be a guy who's afraid. I mean, wouldn't get involved and hurt people, but would close my door if, my family or I, and threaten. That's why I said in there, in the end, it's, when you're threatened, it's all about me. And you hope you can help your neighbor, your friend, anybody in the street, but as it narrows down, it's about taking care of yourself at our basis nature. So I think the majority of things going on now and then, good people do nothing. The historical statement, how do these things happen by a lot of good people doing nothing. So, but it is, I agree with you, it's mostly based on being afraid to do anything. Not a lot of heroes in the world.
Thanks, I'm gonna go slit my wrist.
Thank you.